All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I'm Naresh Mago and with me is VC Pramod. The headlines. Budget session of Parliament resumes today after break. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman to present Budget of Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. Newly elected members of Manipur Legislative Assembly to take oath this morning. Uttar Pradesh designate Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath meets Prime Minister and other senior leaders of BJP after resounding victory in assembly polls. No leadership change in Congress for now. Congress Working Committee meets to discuss post-poll debacle in recent assembly elections. Prime Minister Narendra Modi stresses on integrating latest technology in country's security apparatus. Chairs meeting of Cabinet Committee on Security. Lakshya Sen settles for silver in men's singles of German Open badminton tournament. And in cricket, India in dominating position in Bengaluru Test against Sri Lanka with 419-run lead in second innings. As we start the bulletin, we appeal to our listeners to stay safe from COVID-19 by following these 4 simple steps. Get fully vaccinated. Wear a face mask. Maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing and focus on hand and face hygiene. As our nation celebrates the 75th year of independence, a series of events is being organized by the government as a part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. To commemorate the occasion as a Jan Utsav, All India Radio News brings its listeners a special quiz on India's freedom movement and its glorious history. The quiz is being conducted every Monday and Tuesday in Morning News since 16th August and will continue till 15th August 2022. India Post has joined hands as the logistics partner with All India Radio News for the Amrit Mahotsav quiz. And coming to our 61st question of the Amrit Mahotsav quiz in English. Name the freedom fighter popularly known as Haryana Kesari who organized Ambala Divisional Political Conference in 1920 to popularize the non-cooperation movement. I repeat the question. Name the freedom fighter popularly known as Haryana Kesari who organized Ambala Divisional Political Conference in 1920 to popularize the non-cooperation movement. Listeners can send their responses to the question over WhatsApp on 88265 46262. Repeat, 88265 or through email on amritmahotsavquiz@prasarbharati.gov.in. And now the news in detail. The second part of the budget session of Parliament begins from today. The session will conclude on the 8th of next month and will have 19 sittings. This time, the Rajya Sabha will get 19 hours of additional business time over the earlier schedule. The Parliament is set to return to its normal functioning schedule. Both Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha will sit from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. and will continue to use their chambers and galleries. The decision has been taken in the wake of decline in COVID-19 cases in the country. In view of the third wave of the pandemic, the 2 houses worked in shifts in the first phase. The budget session of Parliament resumes after a month-long recess, during which the department-related parliamentary standing committees examined the demands for grants of various ministries and departments. Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu is likely to give an account of the working of the 8 standing committees of Rajya Sabha in the House today. More from our correspondent.
Several important bills are likely to be taken up during the second phase of the budget session of Parliament. These include Finance Bill 2022, Competition Amendment Bill, Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Authority Amendment Bill, National Dental Commission Bill, Energy Conservation Amendment Bill 2022. The budget session of Parliament began on 31st January with President Ramnath Kovind's address. The first phase of the Parliament session lasted till 11th February and a total of 10 sittings were held during this period. During the first phase, discussions were held on the motion of thanks to the President Address and the Union Budget 2022-23. The work productivity of Rajya Sabha was more than 101% during the session, while the productivity of Lok Sabha was recorded 121%. Bhupendra Singh, AIR News, New Delhi.
Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will present the budget of Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir in Parliament today. She will present a statement of estimated receipts and expenditure of the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir for the year 2022-23. Discussion and voting on the supplementary demands for grants for Jammu and Kashmir for the financial year 2021-22 and general discussion on the budget of the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir for 2022-23 are also listed in today's business of the Lok Sabha. Besides, the Constitution Scheduled Tribes Order Amendment Bill 2022 will be taken up for consideration and passing. The bill will be moved by Union Minister of Tribal Affairs Arjun Munda to further amend the Constitution Scheduled Tribes Order 1950 for inclusion of certain community in the list of scheduled tribes in relation to the state of Tripura. In the Rajya Sabha, the Constitution Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribes Orders Amendment Bill 2022 is listed for consideration and passing in today's business of the House. Besides, discussion on the working of the Ministry of Development of North-Eastern Region is also listed.
In Manipur, the newly elected members of the 12th Manipur Legislative Assembly will take oath at the Assembly Hall this morning. The pro tem Speaker of Manipur, S. Rajain, will administer the oath to newly elected members. All arrangements have been made for the ceremony. The State Governor, L. Ganeshan, dissolved the 11th Manipur Legislative Assembly yesterday. The Manipur Assembly Secretariat has informed all the elected members to bring their certificates of election with them when they come to attend the oath-taking ceremony. The Governor appointed Mr. Rajain as Pro Tem Speaker and administered the oath at the Raj Bhavan in Imphal yesterday morning in the presence of the newly elected BJP legislators. More from our Manipur correspondent.
The post-polls political scenario in Manipur has been clearing day by day with political episodes happening every day. BJP party got 32 seats in just concluded 12th Manipur Legislative Assembly elections and they have support of an independent candidate. So the party have enough number to form a BJP state government. However, the present Chief Minister N. Biren Singh clearly said that BJP will not go with NPP, which was a partner in the last term. The leaders of BJP Manipur has informed that the post of Chief Minister and government formulation will only be decided by party high command. It is expected that the Pandora box will only be opened when party observers arrive in Imphal. JJ Thoksom, AIR News, Imphal.
Uttar Pradesh designate Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath met Prime Minister Narendra Modi in New Delhi yesterday. It was his first visit to the national capital after registering a massive victory in the recently held assembly polls in the state. Prime Minister Modi congratulated Mr. Adityanath on the historic victory of the BJP in Uttar Pradesh assembly polls. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said that in the last 5 years, he has worked tirelessly to fulfill the aspirations of the people in the state. Mr. Modi expressed confidence that in the years to come, Yogi Adityanath will take the state to greater heights of development. Mr. Adityanath also met Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, Union Home Minister Amit Shah, Ayush Minister Sarbanand Sonowal, BJP Chief J.P. Nadda and BJP General Secretary Organization B.L. Santosh. Mr. Shah congratulated Yogi Adityanath for the party's victory in the Uttar Pradesh election. In a tweet, Mr. Shah expressed confidence that the way Mr. Adityanath implemented the centre's welfare schemes for the poor under the guidance of Prime Minister and strengthened the law and order, he will continue to serve the state with the same dedication. The BJP won 255 seats in the 403-member assembly in the state, while its two allies, Apna Dal Sonelal, won 12 seats and Nishad Party secured 6 seats.
Congress Working Committee, CWC, the apex decision-making body of Congress Party, met in New Delhi last evening to discuss the party's performance in the recently held assembly elections in 5 states. Congress Interim President Sonia Gandhi presided over the meeting. Senior party leaders Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, Mallikarjun Kharge, Ambika Soni and Ghulam Nabi Azad were among those who attended the meeting. Briefing the media after the meeting, Party General Secretary K.C. Venugopal said the Working Committee unanimously reaffirmed its faith in the leadership of Sonia Gandhi. He said the committee requested her to lead from the front, address the organizational weakness, and effect necessary and comprehensive organizational changes in order to take on the political challenges. Mr. Venugopal said members of the CWC openly participated in the discussion to analyze the election results of the 5 states and unanimously accepted the statement adopted in the meeting. Prime Minister Narendra Modi chaired the meeting of Cabinet Committee on Security yesterday to review India's security preparedness and the prevailing global scenario following the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. He was briefed on the latest developments and different aspects of the country's security preparedness in the border areas as well as in the maritime and air domain. The Prime Minister was also briefed on the latest developments in Ukraine, including the details of Operation Ganga to evacuate the Indian nationals along with some citizens of India's neighboring countries from Ukraine. Mr. Modi directed that all possible efforts should be made to bring back the mortal remains of Naveen Shekharappa, who died in Kharkiv. Sources said the Prime Minister took a detailed overview of global tech usage in the defense sector and India's advances in the same. He also emphasized on integrating the latest technology in the country's security apparatus.
Ministry of External Affairs has said that the Indian embassy in Ukraine will be temporarily relocated in Poland in view of the rapidly deteriorating security situation in Ukraine, including attacks in the western parts of the country. MEA spokesperson Norindam Bagchi said the situation will be reassessed in the light of further developments. In Ukraine, at least 35 people were killed and 134 injured in a Russian airstrike on a large military training ground near the Polish border yesterday. Regional Governor Maxim Kozitsky has said that Russian planes fired about 30 rockets at the Yavoriv International Center for Peacekeeping and Security, adding that some were intercepted before they hit. The 360 square kilometer facility is less than 25 kilometers from the Polish border and is one of Ukraine's biggest and the largest military training center in the western part of the country.
Russia has said that negotiators are making significant progress at the talks to resolve fighting in Ukraine. Leonid Slutsky, a senior member of Russia's negotiating team, told the state-run television network RT that significant progress was made following several rounds of talks hosted on the border of neighboring Belarus. According to Russian news agencies, Slutsky said his own expectations are that this progress could develop over the next few days into a unified position held by both delegations in documents to be signed. Negotiators from Moscow and Kyiv have held several rounds of talks since Russian President Vladimir Putin sent in troops to the country. Turkey this week hosted the first meeting between the Russian and Ukrainian foreign ministers.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Budget session of Parliament resumes today after break. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman to present budget of Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. Newly elected members of the Manipur Legislative Assembly to take oath this morning. Uttar Pradesh designate Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath meets Prime Minister and other senior leaders of the BJP after resounding victory in assembly polls. No leadership change in Congress for now. Congress Working Committee meets to discuss post-poll debacle in recent assembly elections. Prime Minister Narendra Modi stresses on integrating latest technology in country's security apparatus. Chairs meeting of Cabinet Committee on Security. Lakshya Sen settles for silver in the men's singles of the German Open badminton tournament. And in cricket, India in dominating position in Bengaluru Test against Sri Lanka with 419-run lead in the second innings. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts.
अपने बिजनेस को बढ़ाने के लिए लीजिए आकाशवाणी का सहयोग और दीजिए उसे बुलंदियों के पंख।
आपका बिजनेस लोकल है या राष्ट्रीय, आकाशवाणी देती है उपभोक्ताओं तक पहुंचने का हर विकल्प।
और अब तो आप घर, दफ्तर या दुकान पर बैठे बैठे कर सकते हैं आकाशवाणी के किसी भी केंद्र के लिए विज्ञापनों की बुकिंग।
आकाशवाणी के विभिन्न चैनलों पर विज्ञापन देना सुलभ और सस्ता।
बुकिंग है तो संपर्क करें 8700014242 पर।
8700014242।
In Madhya Pradesh, Anti-Terrorist Squad ATS arrested 4 members of the banned Jamaatul Mujahideen of Bangladesh JMB from Aishbagh police station area of Bhopal early Sunday morning. The operation was carried out by Madhya Pradesh's ATS with the assistance of a team of Central Intelligence Unit. They have been arrested from a building located near Fatima Mosque in Bhopal. Apart from Bhopal, a search operation was also conducted in Karond area located in the outer circle of Bhopal. The 4 arrested JMB members were identified as Fazhar Ali, Muhammad Akil, Jahuruddin Pathan and Faizar Junail. All the 4 members are Bangladeshi nationals. In Himachal Pradesh, the construction process of the Una-Hamirpur railway line project is in the final stage. It is to be built at a cost of about 4,000 crore rupees. Out of this, 75% will be borne by the central government and 25% by the state government. Our correspondent reports that efforts are being made to execute the project on a war footing to ensure its timely completion. A report.
Union Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Singh Thakur said that fast steps are now being taken to finalize this ambitious project. He said all technical difficulties in the construction of this railway line project have been fixed. The Union Minister further said 75% of the expenditure on this important project to be built at an estimated cost of Rs 4,000 crore will be borne by central government and rest of the 25% by the state. The Union Minister said that he and Chief Minister Jairam Thakur had earlier held detailed discussion with the Railway Minister in this regard. Meanwhile, the people of the state expressed their gratitude to the central government.
मैं विनोद ठाकुर जिला हमीरपुर का निवासी, ये हम सब लोगों के लिए बड़ा ही लाभदायक होने वाला है। खास करके उन्ना, हमीरपुर और बिलासपुर के लोगों के लिए, सभी व्यवसायियों के लिए फायदा होने वाला है कि आने वाले समय में ट्रांसपोर्टेशन के माध्यम से और हमारी यात्रा भी सुगम होने वाली है। इसके लिए हम सभी मोदी सरकार का धन्यवाद करते हैं और खास करके हमारे सांसद और कैबिनेट मंत्री श्री अनुराग ठाकुर जी का भी धन्यवाद करते हैं।
Undoubtedly, the ambitious Una-Hamirpur railway line will give new impetus to the development of Himachal Pradesh. Sanjeev Sundaryal, Air News, Shimla.
The Indian naval base INS Rajali at Arakonam near Vellore in Tamil Nadu has said it has gathered ideas and avenues for setting up a maintenance, repair and overhauling unit in its premises. It organized a 2-day workshop on the sustenance of maritime reconnaissance aircraft fleet through self-reliance. Since last Friday, the workshop coincided with the 3 decades of its maritime reconnaissance service and was led by Vice Admiral Puneet Kumar Behel, Commandant of the Indian Naval Academy. And now let's listen to our special program, Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav.
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a Nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
In today's episode, we remember freedom fighter Jai Narayan Vyas, who died on the 14th of March 1963. He was a prominent leader in Jodhpur during the freedom struggle.
Jai Narayan was born in the princely state of Jodhpur in 1899. He started the Marwar Hitkarni Sabha to fight against both English and non-Jodhpuri administrators, which also received the support of the Maharaja of Jodhpur. However, later he also got involved in freedom movements led by the Congress Party, which were not sympathetic to the Maharaja and resulted in his exile from the state.
He returned to his hometown and in 1941 became chairman of the Jodhpur municipality. Jai Narayan was imprisoned 5 times, including for a period of 2 years from 1942 to 1944. For his involvement in the Jodhpur Prajamandal, the Youth League and the Marwar Lok Parishad.
Sonaro suraj uge chandi jehdi raat mhara Rajasthan ki hai jag sunyari baat.
Vyas was elected to the Constituent Assembly from Jodhpur and put forth his views on the issues of state autonomy and the drawing up of state boundaries. After independence, Vyas became the Prime Minister of the princely state of Jodhpur in March 1948. He also headed the Rajputana Pradesh Congress Committee until 1949. Later, he became the Chief Minister of the independent state of Rajasthan, a position that he held twice between 1951 and 1954. We salute the great nationalist.
Keralame ninde omana per kelke kolmayir kollum ennullamennum neeralappacha virichavayalugal neele kidakkumul naadugalum.
We also remember famous Malayalam writer Shankaranakutty Pottekattu, who was born on the 14th of March 1913 in Kozhikode. He was involved with activities of the Indian National Congress and attended the Tripuri session of 1939, for which he resigned from his teaching job as the school authorities did not allow him leave of absence. He was involved in the freedom struggle and worked alongside freedom fighters like Mathai Manjuran. In 1962, Pottekattu won the parliamentary election from Tillicherry, Kerala.
പാതിരാവും പിന്നെ പൂത്തിരുവാതിര പൂനിലാവും.
Pottekattu was a writer of strong social commitment and ideals, possessing an individualistic vision. Pottekattu made his mark in literature with a few short stories in the 1930s. His first story, Rajanithi, was published in 1928. Magane Kon Madhyam and Hindu-Muslim Maitri were some of his notable early works.
Pottekattu won the Kerala Sahitya Academy Award in 1961 for the novel Oru Teruvinte Katha, the story of a street, and the Gyanpeeth Award in 1980 for the novel Oru Desatinte Katha, the story of a locale. His works have been translated into English, Italian, Russian, German and Czech, besides all major Indian languages. He died on the 6th of August, 1982. We salute the great Indian.
We also remember Indian National Army's Lance Naik S.K. Mishra, a resident of Haryana. Mishra fought on the Burma front against the British-led Allied forces and was killed in a gun battle on the 14th of March 1944. We salute the great martyr.
We also remember martyr Mehma Singh, a resident of district Firozpur, Punjab. Mehma joined a peaceful Jatha to Jaito Gurudwara, Gangsar, Nabha in 1925 against the British order prohibiting all prayer assemblies in it. The police stopped the Jatha from entering the Gurudwara and arrested Mehma Singh along with many other participants. Mehma Singh died on the 14th of March 1925 due to brutal police torture in Nabhabir jail. We salute the great martyr.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
Communication Minister Ashwini Vaishnav has inaugurated a seminar on 25 years of TRAI Act, the way forward for stakeholders in New Delhi. TRAI Act was enacted in 1997 to regulate the telecommunications sector in India. It also provided for a mechanism of dispute resolution among the stakeholders of the telecom sector. Speaking on the occasion, Ashwini Vaishnav said that Antyodaya and inclusive development is the first and foremost philosophy behind the decisions and initiatives of the government, and with this thought, the government wants to narrow down the digital divide in the country. In Maharashtra, 7 people were killed and about 35 to 40 seriously injured when a truck rammed into the tractor they were travelling in. The incident took place last night at around 10 p.m. near Lamboti on Solapur-Pune road. The victims were going for a pilgrimage to Pandharpur from Kadamwadi in Tuljapur Taluka. The tractor was hit by a truck so hard that it spun about 1,000 feet, killing 7 people on the spot and seriously injuring many. The injured were rushed to the civil hospital.
India's Lakshya Sen lost to Thailand's Kunlavut Wittersdan in the men's singles final of the German Open badminton tournament in Berlin yesterday. The young badminton sensation went down to the world number 20, Wittersdan 18-21, 15-21 in 58 minutes. The 20-year-old, who notched up a stunning victory against world number 1 and reigning Olympic champion Viktor Axelsen in the semi-finals, struggled to find his best in the summit clash. In the Bengaluru Test, India are now in a dominating position against Sri Lanka in the second match of the series being played in the day-night format at Chinnaswamy Stadium. At stumps on day 2 last night, hosts had the 419-run lead in the second innings. Earlier, India declared its second innings at 303 for 9, setting a mammoth 447-run target before Sri Lanka, who will resume their second innings at the overnight score of 28 for 1 on the third day today. Earlier, as the second day's play started yesterday, Sri Lanka lost 4 wickets within 30 minutes, adding only 23 runs to their total 109 runs in reply to India's first innings score of 252. Jasprit Bumrah took his first wicket on Indian soil.
Now let's take a look at the weather forecast for today. Srinagar will have a mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards evening or night. Temperature will hover between 5 and 20 degrees Celsius. Jammu will have a mainly clear sky. The minimum temperature was 15 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 28 degrees. Leh is likely to have a mainly clear sky. The minimum and maximum temperature will hover between -2 and 11 degrees Celsius. Gilgit will have a mainly clear sky. The temperature will hover between 8 and 26 degrees. Muzaffarabad will have a mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. The minimum temperature was 10 degrees Celsius and maximum will be around 28 degrees. The national capital Delhi is likely to have a mainly clear sky. The temperature will vary between 16 and 33 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have a heat wave. The minimum temperature was 24, while the maximum is expected to be around 39 degrees. Chennai is likely to have fog or mist in the morning and partly cloudy sky later. The temperature will vary between 23 and 33 degrees Celsius. And Kolkata will have a mainly clear sky. The minimum temperature was 21 and the maximum will be of 34 degrees.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. The post-poll churn in Congress after massive losses in the recently concluded assembly elections in 5 states figures on the front pages today. CWC rejects Gandhi's offer to quit positions, says Hindustan Times, while the Times of India writes that Congress's functioning came under serious attack from G23 leaders who questioned the ideological compromise in the party and treatment of sycophants as loyalists. Air-base strike brings war closer to NATO border, reads a headline in The Statesman, while The Hindu says India relocates embassy in Ukraine to Poland. US scribe shot dead, another hurt in Ukraine, reports The Pioneer. Re-registering cars to become costlier in India from April 1, reports Hindustan Times, adding it will cost up to 8 times more for renewing registration certificates of vehicles older than 15 years. And finally, the Times of India says that for the first time in its 100 years history, Rashtriya Indian Military College in Dehradun will admit girls.
And before we end the bulletin, a reminder of today's question of the Amrit Mahotsav quiz. Name the freedom fighter popularly known as Haryana Kesari who organized Ambala Divisional Political Conference in 1920 to popularize the non-cooperation movement. WhatsApp your response on 88265 46262 or through email on amritmahotsavquiz@prasarbharati.gov.in. Celebrate 75 years of India's independence by participating in Amrit Mahotsav quiz with AIR News. Now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Budget session of Parliament resumes today after break. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman to present Budget of Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. Newly elected members of Manipur Legislative Assembly to take oath this morning. Uttar Pradesh Designate Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath meets Prime Minister and other senior leaders of BJP after resounding victory in assembly polls. No leadership change in Congress for now. Congress Working Committee meets to discuss post-poll debacle in recent assembly elections. Prime Minister Narendra Modi stresses on integrating latest technology in country's security apparatus, chairs meeting of Cabinet Committee on Security. Lakshya Sen settles for silver in men's singles of German Open badminton tournament. And in cricket, India in a dominating position in Bengaluru Test against Sri Lanka with a 419-run lead in the second innings. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website newsonair.gov.in and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.